They started late 12th century as an outgrowth of knightly tournaments, and they continued into the 17th century. And then starting in the 19th century, people tried to revive them. So there's a long history, but always in slightly different forms. The setup and ceremony for jousting matches varied a lot depending on how formal and on what time period.
Well, Sam builds most of the bikes. He's probably the only tall bike builder down here in Norman, actually. So, anytime he pretty much has built everything for jousting down here.
Yeah, and Stuart randomly showed up one day at a joust, and he's turned out to be one of the more enthusiastic jousters, and he's got the bruised ribs to prove it.
First off, you have to build some tall bikes, and Sam has built a lot more than I've ever built, but basically you have two usually steel bikes, and you've got one on bottom, one on top, and you have to do a little bit of chopping and welding, but everybody's got their tall bikes. Everybody has their lances, which are PVC pipe with usually diapers or t-shirts on the end that have been wrapped in duct tape, and basically everyone meets up and people just kind of decide to go when they want to go and find opponents, and you ride at each other, usually between 8 and 15 miles an hour, hopefully closer to 8 because it really hurts, and you hit each other in the chest.
The scoring based on where the blow lands, on avoiding the fouls, is another form of honor. It's not just skillful violence. It's skillful in the right way, in complete control, in complete respect for your opponent and chivalry. You scored most if you knocked the other guy off his horse. And there were debates. If he was almost off his horse but still had a hand on the saddle, did that count? If he stayed in the saddle but you knocked the entire saddle off the horse, did that count as unhorsing him? They were very concerned about this.
Yeah, it's basically just picking up a lance and riding it another person. The bikes are really tippy, so you just got to hit them in the chest and they'll usually flip over.
They were supposed to come out one at a time. One person, and they'd encounter one single visible encounter for everyone to watch. They could get excited. One knight could come out and two knights could charge, and one of them was supposed to stop, but sometimes they both kept going. They were also an opportunity to gather the best and the brightest and the most beautiful, and to talk, to exchange news, to meet knights from foreign countries, to see how they jousted and learn a trick or two. Jousting was full of young men. And when you went to joust, you went to watch the knights. You went to dance. You maybe went to drink. You maybe went to do more than that. Young ladies liked tournaments. Their fathers didn't.
If I had to tie jousting back to the Middle Ages, there's a lot of ale and winches involved, and I don't know, hygiene in the Middle Ages wasn't that great, and there were a lot of beards, and people smelled bad. And usually bike jousters don't smell that fresh.
Various lewd and lascivious things might happen, and very respectable women weren't supposed to go. Of course, they did anyway, because it's like a ball. It's where you want to go, and it's where your parents are meant to worry about you, and that's part of the fun. We need it for who we are, to announce what we value, what we do. So the knightly sense of honor was very much, you need to fight, you need to practice, you need to be visible to justify what you do. The joust was an opportunity to show you could do it well, and you could do it with style. The need for knights to stay in practice, the celebration of the knight as the figure of heroic violence faded, and with it, jousting.